All right, the next 24 hours going to show us more and more of those hot temperatures. We start our Friday a little warmer and a little bit more muggy out there. We're not talking uncomfortable. It's not feeling like it did a couple of weeks ago. And even this afternoon, when it does get hot and it does get humid, and it will, we're still not talking that same kind of hot, humid where we have those heat advisories or anything like that. But 93, 94, 95, and the humidity that we're going to have, it is going to feel like it's up over 100. And I think the shower chances are going to be pretty limited. So we're likely looking at several hours of these temperatures up in the mid-90s and feeling like they're up over 100. So lots of hot coming our way. That's for our Friday. That's for our Saturday. It's likely for our Sunday too, although hopefully things start to change again by the time we get to Monday. This is not one of those long-lasting 2 weeks worth of hot and humid like I felt like we had for so much this summer, but it is going to be a couple of days. I don't see a lot of shower chances around here. Maybe we can get a couple with the sea breeze this afternoon, but I think they're going to be pretty limited, and that likely means we get that long duration hot. It's 67 this morning in Valdosta. 68 in Thomasville. We'll take those. Anytime this time of year we get those numbers in the 60s, that's bonus weather. Tallahassee at the airport's 72, which is pretty close to where it's supposed to be this time of the day, this time of the year. Quincy and Liberty County and Mariana also checking in at 72. Madison High School and Hamilton High School checking in at 71. I see that 69 in Monticello and in Moultrie. So we've got a couple of spots in the upper 60s. It's not breezy. It's also not foggy. A couple of spots might see a little bit of patchy fog this morning, maybe a little better chance for some of that tomorrow morning. The overall look is still going to be like it was yesterday. Decent amounts of sunshine all day, and that's what will get those temperatures climbing. Higher pressure is going to be our big weather player. That old boundary to our south finally fizzles out. The next boundary is going to try to get here. Now, I think it's going to need some help, and it's going to take a couple of days. And depending on where that boundary gets to, that's going to make a big difference in how our forecast plays out down the road a piece. So we'll watch that boundary over the weekend. As it gets closer by Sunday, maybe it can help to squeeze a few more showers out of the clouds. We'll up those rain chances a little bit by the end of the weekend, but nobody's outdoor plans are going to get washed away this weekend. Here's the futurecast for today. Limited shower chances, maybe a few near the coast. I think tomorrow, a slightly better chance to get a few scattered afternoon showers, but we're still not talking big time rains here, nothing like even we had last weekend. And then as we get to Sunday, it all depends on where that boundary is able to get to. There's going to be a north breeze behind it and drier air that would make things feel a little bit better if it could get here, but I still think that's an if at this point. Let's talk tropics. Not a lot going on across the Atlantic, the Gulf, or the Caribbean, but we are still watching that same area way out across the Atlantic that doesn't really jump off the page and look like a classic tropical system yet, but it's getting more and more likely that this weekend we'll be calling this something else. Up to a 60% chance over the next 2 days for development, up to a 90% chance over the next week. So plenty to watch, nothing to get worked up over. We've got lots of time to see where this goes, what it becomes, and how it all evolves. And of course, we'll keep you updated every step of the way. On the Gulf today, partly cloudy, more humid. Those breezes out of the east and southeast, like 5 to 15 and seas 1 to 3 feet. Not bad for the boaters today or this weekend. It's just going to be more muggy out there. Lots of sunshine, a few 60s, a lot of 70s. Everybody's going to get into the 90s, and I think we're looking at 93s, 94s, 95s this afternoon. We'll put the rain chances like 10-20%. That's it. I'm not expecting very many showers, but there can be some. It stays muggy tonight, low 70s in most spots, so a little bit warmer to get started each morning this weekend. And there you see those top temperatures for today, for tomorrow, even for Sunday. Still got to expect the mid-90s. Now, if that boundary is able to get here, it would be wonderful if it could get through here, but I think it's going to get held up at some point. Where it gets held up becomes important because that will adjust our rain chances for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That also will adjust our temperatures a bit by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we'll consider that a low confidence forecast, one we know that is going to change. What is not going to change is the hot and the humid these next couple of days.